Alright, what's up guys? It's Forever a Ride here with the 2022 4Runner TRD Off-Road Premium, and a lot of the videos I see about the interior specifications really kind of intrigue me about this car, but one of the things you can't really tell over video is the material quality. So I've come up with this proprietary and surely flawed system of rating from 1 to 5, 1 being durable and utilitarian, and 5 being premium and luxury. So let's take a look. Alright, so if we come into the 4Runner, and I'm going to close the window so we don't have any wind noise. Let's start with the door panel and kind of the upper materials here. If we start with the door panel, we have this Softex faux leather that on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being durable and utilitarian, and 5 being, total premium luxury. I'd say this is about like a 3.5 or even a 4. I wouldn't say it's a 5 because it doesn't feel like firm and like padded, like let's say like a BMW's interior would be, but also it's easy to clean. So maybe like towards the 3.5 area, but that's true of kind of like all leather cars. If we move on to like the upper area where this is kind of like the plastic where you don't touch, this is definitely more towards a 2.8 out of 5. This isn't like really that off of some like, economy cars. It's a little bit better than, definitely better than like what you'd find in a Corolla. But it's nicely grained and definitely easy to clean and not soft whatsoever. So it kind of falls in the middle. So we have a couple of mixtures there. Then we have this metallic plastic here. And this is really shiny, but it reminds me of what you would find on like a boombox from the 90s, if you guys remember that. Like an Emerson boombox. It's better than nothing though, but ultimately I'd give this like a 2. Moving on. If we go up, forward, we're gonna touch on the dashboard now. So this is a big sticking point with a lot of cars. I remember, when soft touch dashboards were like coming out in economy cars, and that was like the big thing, like really like where you want to see your money go. It's funny because you don't actually come into contact with the dashboard, but something about it being soft touch just really adds to the ambiance and the feeling of luxury and quality. If we take a closer look at the materials here, it's definitely hard plastic, and my dad's gonna love me just banging on his brand new dashboard with my nails like that, but it's like dimpled, kind of like a golf ball. And while it appears to be like a nice quality, it definitely is more on the utilitarian side, and I think they want it to be easy to clean, but if they wanted it to be easy to clean, they probably wouldn't have put these like little dimples. And I know this for a fact because when we took a 4Runner off-roading in Colorado, we were on some dusty trails, and boy, the dust got right in these dimples, and kind of no matter how kind of hard you tried with a rag, it wouldn't really come off that easy. So this is definitely getting like a 2 on my proprietary functionality to luxury scale. If we come over to the steering wheel, you have a leather wrapped steering wheel, and this is like as good as any. And I heard that Toyota actually hand stitches these. If you know about that, you could just put in the comments, tell me if I'm right or wrong. But this is a really nicely wrapped leather steering wheel. It's actually like has a different texture throughout. Let's get that to focus. I really don't mind it. I shouldn't say I don't mind it. I like it. I like the grain. I like the way it feels. Definitely not like a soft leather because of the grain and the dimpling. This is more of a functional. I'll give this a 3.5. Coming over to the buttons on the steering wheel. These are definitely more functional. They feel solid. The feedback is nice. However, They're really just like more of that boombox material that it reminds me of. Maybe like a D-pad of like, definitely a more luxurious D-pad than you'd find on your Xbox or PS4 or PS5. So I'm gonna give this more of like a 2. All right, definitely not luxurious, but definitely gets the job done, and you won't find those breaking anytime soon. You have more of that metallic material on the steering wheel. Actually, you know, the more I touch it, the more I kind of like how smooth it is, but still kind of cheesy to see on the steering wheel. It's not a BMW. You won't find this in an Audi or anything like that. More like a Honda Fit kind of material. I'm gonna go ahead and just turn this engine on because I'm getting kind of hot in here. There we go. Hopefully the AC isn't too loud, but that does bring me to the AC controls. There's actually a really nice stippling going on here that I really like the feel of. Make no mistake, this is totally utilitarian, and like, don't get me wrong, like this scale, like the 1 doesn't mean that it's low quality. It just means it's set up for utility. It's not set up for luxury. This is a 1. These are 1s. This is 1. Yeah, there's just no other way to say it. These are huge buttons made for use with gloves. There's no mistaking, you know, kind of where this red thing is here. You could pretty much do this while you're driving without looking. This button is probably one of the biggest buttons I've ever seen in a vehicle. This is for the recirc, and this is for the heating. I mean, it's just literally taking up the whole panel here. So these buttons and these dials, everything about it, that's 1. That's utilitarian, right? There's no luxury there. I guess you could say the rubber on this is kind of going the extra mile. They didn't have to do that. So maybe 1.5. Let's go with 1.5 on that. Moving on to the touchscreen, no buttons there, but you can still kind of gauge how kind of quality. Some newer vehicles have like really nice oleophobic coatings on the touchscreen. I don't detect that here. I do detect a matte finish, and I believe that's so the fingerprints don't show up as easily on some like Fiat Chrysler vehicles, some Stellantis vehicles, like the Jeep, for instance, will be just kind of glossy. I'm gonna say this is like a 2. They're actually putting some thought into it, you know, kind of not smudging, and that is utilitarian, but it's the screen itself and the buttons on this screen are not really like, they don't convey the nicest quality. Oh, this is a new kind of, I've never seen this menu before. That's really cool. Okay, great. Moving on to the center console and armrest area, we have this interesting like faux carbon fiber. This is actually some of the closest I've seen to like kind of almost fooling me. Like, this is definitely not carbon fiber, this is plastic, but the weave is actually really nice, and I don't think you'd be kind of too far off seeing this in like a sports car from even a few years ago, trying to pull this off as carbon fiber. This is easy to clean, but because it kind of throws me off so much, I'm gonna give it a 4. I'm gonna give it a 4. You know, without like digging around too much, this could be in another more expensive vehicle for a luxury vehicle. So I'm gonna give that a 4. The TRD shift knob, this should be, right, like this should be like a luxury touch, right? You're going for the off-road premium package. There's premium in the name. How premium is it? This is actually really nice. This kind of reminds me of what you might see in an entry-level Lexus vehicle. I'm not sure if you guys can kind of pick up on that. Tappy, but I like the dimpling, the TRD there. This grain feels really nice. There is stitching on the back here. I'm gonna give this a 4 as well. I think this is kind of a standout in this interior as being one of the more kind of like premium areas. But still utilitarian, so it's not gonna get a total 5. It's kind of like this big chonky thing. That's more of design rather than material usage, but yeah, let's give that a 4. And I definitely don't want to miss going over this. This is like a screaming, if I give it a 0.1, I give it a 0.1, and that's a good thing. This is utilitarian as all hell. This thing vibrates, it's connected to the driveline. It is to engage 4-wheel high and 4-wheel low. This is just like really an anachronism going forward in off-road vehicles and SUVs especially. But yeah, this just being here is a 1, but the materials surrounding it are very nice, very kind of premium feeling. This is like a rubber. I'd say it's a 3 overall, but this thing being here is like a screaming 1. I don't want to miss the things on the dashboard here, if we can get that to focus. This area, this is super utilitarian. They are making an effort. There is a slight grain to it. I'm gonna give this a 3 right down the middle. If we move on to the seats are wrapped in the same material that was on the door, the Softex leather, and you'll find some red stitching on here as well. I actually really like these seats, and I think you'd kind of find it in like a high-end Camry or even Avalon would use the same materials. I don't know, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It's kind of has a nice smell. This is another thing you can't tell from a lot of reviews. It smells like a leather would in a leather car. You know, it's definitely not real leather, but it still kind of like uplifts the kind of experience. It is soft. It is really nice. I'm gonna give this a 4 as well. And that would make sense, kind of just like getting in the TRD off-road premium. These are the kind of the features you expect. But leather can be more utilitarian in the fact that, you know, it's easier to wipe down than cloth. Cloth stains, runs through the fabric. Leather, you can just kind of wipe down with a damp cloth and you're good to go. Same thing for the armrest. All right, guys, so now we're in the back seat of the 4Runner. You will find more of the same materials here. I do want to point out that the headliner in this vehicle is not black, it is gray. And, you know, you might be saying, so like, what's the big deal? It is often found that on more premium vehicles, you will see a black headliner because, you know, they don't mark up. And it just kind of frames your outward visual. So if you can see here, like, it's just kind of bright and airy on the top. You know, it's not a bad thing. Some people might prefer it, but definitely utilitarian. This kind of looks like you could replace it pretty easily. Yeah, this is like a 2 or a 3. Nothing wrong with it, but you would not be surprised to find it in like, you know, Camrys of the past. So it's just more utilitarian than it is premium. We come back down to the AC vents. These are great. Not all vehicles offer this anymore, and this feels really good. I know I don't want to jump into like feeling too much, but these are super solid. These are not going to loosen up and like just like flop around over time. These are probably some of the most solid feeling vents I've felt in a while. You have a knurled up and down for the AC here. That's something I forgot to go over in the front. And I do like that a lot. That's gonna get, this is gonna get a 4. You know, this isn't like, no, actually, this is gonna get a 3. It's right in the middle. There's no like, you know, nothing flashy about this, but damn, does it feel good. So, I mean, shit, maybe it'll get a 2. Yeah, let's give it a 2. And I think it's important to see cars kind of like fully loaded with shit as you would use it. So my dad's dailing this right now. This is my Coleman, excuse me, not Coleman, Low Pro backpack. I got my camera gear in here. You know, there is a lot of good space in here, really usable space. But yeah, we're not cleaning this car to show it off. We're just gonna kind of show it as it is to give you a better idea of what it's like to live with. If we bring this armrest down, oh thanks Dad, we got some good napkins in here. You'll see more of that material that we found by the door cards, and this is like what you would find, I think a good analogy for this is what you would find in like a G35, like in a Nissan G35 not too long ago. Like, it's just like, it's not bad. It's got that like OG kind of, it's supposed to look like leather or something like that. I think I gave it a 2.5 earlier, and I will still give it one here. these rubber inserts for the cup holders are really fantastic, and they allow you to fit much larger water bottles. Is it felt lined down here? No, it is not. But I really, really like this, and this is one, right? This is utilitarian. The rubber is actually nice quality, so maybe I'll give it a 2. Yeah, let's give that a 2. When it backs up though, it backs up into this plastic area, and this is a 1. This is a straight up 1. This is not something you'd see on a newer vehicle today. I mean, this is just like, but they did go to the extra mile to put these little rubber inserts here so it doesn't go clickety clack when it goes back in. But everything feels just incredibly solid, incredibly robust. All right, so now we're gonna get out of the car and go check out the rear. So we check out the interior. It's actually very organized back here for once. Good job. So this is more of what you'd find, as we stated before, and I actually think they didn't have to like make this as nice as they did. It does kind of scratch up easily. You know, I'd give this right down the middle, maybe like a 2.5, a 3, definitely more on the utilitarian side. We have some hooks here. You know, they're going out of the way kind of to, what do we got in there? We got a jack. That's really cool, but this is just not like a really super well-fitting panel. I'm not like super confident in that, like popping off. This material I like a lot. Definitely maybe like a 2. They did put some design into it. Got the WeatherTech floor mat. I'll let you know how my dad finds that in the future. Yeah, really nothing to go on about in the back, but I like this kind of like tonneau cover action we got going on here. This is one of the easier ones to use. Definitely not one-handed though. I would do it with 2 hands. These line up into these little grooves, and then it comes back. It's really awesome that you can actually flip this 20, what is it? 40, 20, 40 from here. That's going the extra mile, and this seat feels fantastic. The fact that this doesn't have an automatic liftgate is kind of disappointing in the amount of money you're spending. But this rear glass, this is pure luxury and pure utilitarianism. The fact that you can roll this down, I'm gonna give that a 3 down the middle, so that's a win for everybody, right? Everyone likes that. This right here, this grab handle, that's a 1. Alright guys, so as the sun starts to set here on the Intracoastal Waterway, this is just a nice kind of like overview of the interior. I always think it's hard to kind of find these types of videos that give you kind of like the intangible. I know my rating system doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, it sounds like 1 is bad and 5 is really good. But the truth is, some people, I think most people like a mix of both, and I think that's, if we average the numbers out here, we'll find that the 4Runner offers like a really decent mix of both. Some luxury cars are also very durable, and they might score in the middle as well. Some more utilitarian cars will have kind of, no, they won't have luxury features. They will just be low and utilitarian. So, you know, you're spending quite a bit of money on this truck at this point, and you do want to see kind of the average being better. Or more in the middle. So I think it's just a show of the 4Runner. You know, it's a dinosaur, yes, but they're trying, and Toyota, you know, at their worst is almost Toyota at their best, which is kind of crazy. So if you have any requests, put them down in the comments. If you're not familiar with my channel, I do cars, trucks, motorcycles. Pretty soon you'll see some wave runners on here. I live in Florida, and we do a lot of fishing, a lot of water sports. I love riding motorcycles. As you've seen before, I've had about 3 so far. But automotive has always been a passion of mine, and that's why you'll see this series. Stay tuned and subscribe.